This is Silvia Pavoni, investment editor of The Banker, and I'm talking to Roberto Zamora, the president of Lafise. We're talking just outside the Felaban meetings today. We were having a chat about the similarities of the crisis that happened in Latin America a couple of decades ago and the situation in which Europe finds itself into. Lafise, interestingly enough, was actually set up as a consequence of the Latin American crisis and was purchasing debt from countries that found themselves into difficulties, and this was in 1995. And I know, Roberto, that you have some interesting views about what the Europeans should learn from the past of the region, of the Latin American region.
Thank you, Silvia. It's a real pleasure to talk to you. And as I mentioned, the European crisis right now is very similar to what's today in the 80s happening in Latin America. In all the forums, Latin America was called the lost decade in Latin America, where all the governments and countries from Mexico to Argentina defaulted in their debt payments. And as a result of that, all these countries were forced to negotiate with the IMF, with the World Bank, and the only way out that basically all the countries follow is to restructure debt, some of the countries with some discount, and those restructure was supported by Brady bonds. That was name of the Secretary of Treasury at that time, Mr. Brady. And today, basically, all those Brady bonds disappear, were paid in full. Latin America went through a tough and delicate process of unpopular measure of adjustment, freezing salaries to doctors, nurses, teachers, army, police, everybody, and try to adjust their finance. And today, what we see in Europe, basically, is that many countries has been spending more money that they should have spending. Some of the countries were not telling the truth about the spending. And today, we are in the middle of a crisis in Europe that can spread to other part of the world, is that you don't have to go what happened in Latin America in the 80s and have to have many tough decisions to take that will need to have a courage leader to take tough decisions. That I think the leaders, they don't have choice. If they take tough decision, probably will be unpopular and they be will be forced to go out of the government. But if they don't take the tough decision, it's probably is going to happen the same. It's because it's a more educated people that more way of thinking and more demanding. And with the level of debt, the government is no solution that to adjust and tight the belt completely and beginning a process of adjustment that is going to last a few years. If they don't start that adjustment, probably the countries that are more in trouble right now, that will be forced to do in many more countries, because what investors or the community and people is going to see a lack of confidence, a lack of leadership, and then that's the problem with the information that is today available for everybody is going to be worse.
And at the Felaban meetings, which of course is tends to be about trade finance, the European situation poses a number of question marks and worries, but it can also present some opportunities if we want to be really optimistic from Latin American investors. And I know that, of course, Lafise is headquartered in Miami, but has many operations in Central America. And it's just opened an office in Spain. So are we going to see your firm perhaps looking into doing what he did initially when it was set up and looking into purchasing perhaps some European debt? Or do you think that we're going to see anyway some Latin American investors looking at Europe and taking advantage of low prices, hoping that, of course, these economies will come out of these difficult situations in the near future?
I will say that, in my view, what is going on in the banking system in Europe, that in the 80s they were selling debt of the Latin American governments. in the secondary market today. They are going to be starting selling debt of European countries in the secondary markets, and it's going to be created a secondary market of European debt at different prices, but it's going to be a solution on that. I think it's not the end of the world. There is a beginning of tremendous opportunity for different people that are not in the big trouble that may see those opportunities. And we're going to be starting to see companies from Latin America buying companies in Europe, buying opportunities, buying debt, making debt conversion of any kind, negotiating with government. I think that is going to be open a tremendous area of opportunities in Europe for the rest of the financial system, business people around the world.
In the banking market as well?
In all the markets, I will say that that is when you are in a crisis, everything is an opportunity. The only thing is that if you have the ability to find those opportunities or the ability to decide to do something, because Europe is not going to disappear. I think that Europe, after this crisis, is going to emerge with a stronger position, and that is what happened today in Latin America. We see this is a miracle. Latin America, no, it's not a miracle. Latin America went through this, and were so many difficult years that today are giving the benefits. Today, you don't see any single country in Latin America, from Mexico to Argentina, that the level of debt is going to put any of this country at risk. That today, all the analysis or the news or whatever, they tell you it's not going to happen in the next few years or in the years to come. Anything lasts forever, then this is a cycle. That's you don't want to be in the wrong position today, but somebody, some people, some banks, some companies are in the middle of this crisis. But for the rest of the world, for China, for Latin America, some Asian countries, Europe is an opportunity. I think that many people dream to have on a floor in London, in Italy, and in Spain, but probably today is the opportunity to do it. Then it's going to boost the real estate market, as happened in Miami, where we are. Many people who is going to be buying today the apartments and the buildings in Miami area are Latin American people that they found this very cheap, and they can afford it to buy it. A few years ago, probably were not thinking to do that.
Thank you very much for your comments, Roberto.
Thanks to you.